How you guys doing? Hello. Let me bring that down just a little. That's better. I hope I have some moderators in the house and please speak to everybody. Whew, I was working outside, trying to get a lot of stuff done. You are never finished with your gardening work. Just when you think you finished, you got something else to do. Okay, paper towel. Let's bring this closer so I can see. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. If you are not subscribed to the channel and you're watching the replay, I just want to let you know that you can only comment if you are a subscriber. And we do that to keep unfriendly or unhappy, miserable people out of the chat. And it's been working out well. So if you have a question and you couldn't leave a comment today, you can leave it in the comments and then subscribe. And then next week, we'll be able to see you post your question because you will be a subscriber. And if you have not joined any of my perk clubs, we have 3 levels. The first level costs $2.99 a month, and you go through YouTube and YouTube only. And you'll get some seeds every month that I will be mailing you. And you also have the ability to shout out your own channel. I like to group them together, so I ask people to wait until I ask you to, put your URL in the chat or your Facebook group or your TikTok or your, what else? There is Instagram or Facebook group. And the other thing I want to tell you is the next tier of my perk groups is $4.99 a month. And that one is called Eat Your Own. And you get the same thing that I just mentioned from the first level. But you're also entitled to attend one free food preservation class a month. And the last tier is called Make Your Own Perk Club, and you get everything from level 1 and level 2. But this level entitles you to attend one of the product knowledge and product making classes that I give once a month. And speaking of that, we had a wonderful class yesterday. I do them over Zoom, and all of the participants told me that they learned something. They either said it before I entered the class or they emailed me personally. And that really makes me feel good when I know that I am helping people. And that class that we had yesterday was on making the healing organic honeys that I sell on my website. And I don't compete with anybody, nor do I hold any information back. The only thing I don't do is give you my exact formula, but all the mistakes that I have made in formulating products along the way, I share them with the people in my Make Your Own Perk Club group so that they won't make the same mistakes. Any shortcuts that I've developed and I've learned, I pass them on because I know that I have a purpose in life. Having survived cancer for over 30 years has taught me that there's something that I'm supposed to be doing, and I know it's what I'm doing. Coming live to you every Monday night, unless I'm sick, and that's rare. I think in 2 years I've been ill, really exhausted one time, and then the other time I think I missed, I was on vacation. And so I come in every week, and you don't have to be a member of the Perk Club to ask me any questions. I don't charge anything. And whether you know it or not, we don't make a lot of money off of these live chats on YouTube. We do that to connect with our subscribers and to help. And I don't stay on for a long time. I get in here and tell you what I need to tell you because I research a couple of topics, sometimes one topic a week. And after I've gone over what I feel that you may learn something from or be motivated or inspired from, then I open the floor up for questions. And before you put your question in, one of my lovely moderators will let you know it's time, and you'll see a big red question mark, and you can type your question in all caps. And some of you have emailed me questions, and it was too long for me to write several paragraphs because I'm a busy lady. And I instructed you to please ask me that question on a Monday night when you're in the chat when I'm going live. So if I've asked you to do that, today is the day. It's every Monday, 7 o'clock Central Time, and we're getting ready to get started. Okay, let me bring up the chat, and let's see who's in the house. And the first person that I see is Garden Master 242. He said that he's saying hello and he got to the party a little early. Thank you so much, sir. We have Regina Tyson in the house. Andrea Lucas is in the house. My lovely moderator, Grandmama Groves. Tia Drumhole. And let me stop and say, can you guys hear me okay? Because I turned the sound off on my PC, so I don't know. Put a 1 down there, or yes, if you can hear me well. Hey, Bobby Wilson. Tia Drum Gold is in the house. Veggie Farm Garden. Karen Witherspoon. Broke Farmer 7. No, it's just Broke Farmer now. I was going to say the number. Thank you for being here, Broke Farmer. Grandmama Groves, I already mentioned her. Mike Kramonski, thank you. Jennifer Kay, Barb Brownlee, April Garcia, Miss Kia Parks. She was in the class yesterday. Miss Ellen, Auntie Ellen is in the house. Thank you so much. She's letting us know she's on vacation, but she just jumped in to say hello, and we appreciate you. Wanda Walker and Pescatarian Gardner. She was in the class yesterday. Lorraine T is in the house. And some of your names are a little bit different from your Zoom meeting sign-in name. So if I omit somebody, hey, charge it to my head and not my heart. A Garden for Mom. I love that. A Garden for Mom is here. And let's see. I think everybody's speaking to everybody. They're telling me that my sound is okay. All right. See if we got anything else. Nana Joanne is here. I don't know if I spoke to Chris White already. I don't think I did. Our truck driver. And okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put my email address up. And I'm going to pin it. And I'm also going to put my Cash App in the same spot. That way it'll be pinned to the top if you want to make a donation to help keep this channel going. We certainly would appreciate it if you would do it via the Cash App. And it helps a lot. Every little bit helps. Especially when you're a senior citizen fighting this inflation. And that's what it really is, guys. Thank you, Grandmama Groves. Hey, Gardner99, good to see you again. And I'm getting ready to pin my comment to the top. There we go. I just want to briefly mention real quick that the special is still the same all through the month of May. It is the moisturizing body lotion, and you have to order it from the special and the gift set page. And if somebody would link my website up there, I would certainly appreciate it. Okay? And you get a special discount for the month of May. I'd like to honor our Golden Girls. We already spoke to Miss Ellen Pankey. She's on vacation visiting her sister. Viola Graham, Jean Dudley, Deb M., and Joyce Moore. Okay, so we had that Organic Healing Honey class on Sunday. It'll be a preservation class. And let's see how many people we have. 1, 2, 3, 4 people have already signed up for it. And I've emailed you some correspondence about what you're supposed to have prepped before the class and what you're going to be pressure canning. And so I will touch base with you all next week, not this week, but probably about Wednesday, and I'll just send you a little email to find out if you have a electric or a gas cooktop, or if you have an electric pressure canner, and just to make sure of some things that you have observed all safety and sanitation cautions, and watch a couple of my videos, and that all of your jars, your mason jars that you're going to be pressure canning, are the same size, either because they have different processing times for pints and for quarts, and that's what usually the people use. So make sure you have everything, and if you're not going to be ready on time, remember we start at noon, because we have to, Central Time, because we will be kicked off of Zoom after 2 hours, because that's what I paid for. And let me just say this here, because I told a few people, and I think I need to tell everybody so that you can make up your mind if you want to go to the classes. I'm turning 68 next month after next, July 4th, Independence Day. I was an Independence baby. And I am going to continue doing these classes only for until the end of the year. And so I always say, if you join one of the top tier groups like Make Your Own or Eat Your Own, and you attended all the classes that you want to attend, and you want to drop down and go to just the bare minimum, the $2.99 a month, where you get your seeds every month and your shout out, you can do that. And the reason why the Holy Spirit, I know it's the Holy Spirit put the thought in my head, go ahead on and tell everybody, because I don't want anybody to be thinking about joining and then they can't get all of the classes in. And I will not be offended if you downgrade. I've said this a lot of times. Take the classes that you want, and if you want to downgrade, fine. If you don't, if you want to stay a member just to keep supporting my channel, I would appreciate it. But I want you to get all of the classes in, because December will be the last month that I'll be doing the classes on Sunday. Okay? Let me look at the chat and see what people are thinking about it. Hi, Charlene Joe. Somebody speaking to you. She's saying, what classes, Charlene? You have to click onto my channel, and it'll have a little button there, either on your PC or on your phone, and it tells you to join. And there are 3 tiers. I just mentioned them. You came in late. Yes, Lorraine T. I was a firecracker baby. Can you believe it? It was 2 of me. I was a twin. And I think I said in my video that I'm going to be publishing on Wednesday that my twin sister died at birth, but she didn't. She lived for a short period of time after birth. So I misspoke. But yeah, I was born on 4th of July. And believe it or not, I'm talking about 4th of July later. But let me get back to, I think her name was Charlene. Okay, she said okay. So she's going to check the groups out. If you want to learn how to make products and have your own business, or just start off like I first started off in 1993, just to help with rashes and things like that, and gave gifts to people until finally they kept saying you need to sell this. So that's when I launched my line. Hey, At Home with Hudson, Best Yet Journey, and At Home with Cheryl. 3 kisses to my moderators. So yeah, so I won't be giving the classes anymore after January, because I need to keep peace in my family with my children who say I keep doing too much. And I'm just the type of person that if I do something, I'm going to see it through. And I just have a real strong work ethic. Like right now, talking to you guys, I've got a plumbing issue. But I didn't want to cancel or my live, because the plumber is not going to be here until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I got running water. I'm okay. I could turn things off that was messed up. I don't want to go into detail. But I'm very disciplined, and I have a very strong work ethic. So I want nobody to feel that they joined a group and they couldn't take the classes. I want you to know now that the end of the year will be the last of the classes. And if you haven't learned how to pressure can or dehydrate or solar hydrate or sun dehydrate or a water bath can, now is the time. And I always tell you this, you can always go to my video, and who I consider a very good person for you to get some instruction about canning is Homestead Heart. And if you don't know her, check out her channel. And always, always, please let the people know that I sent you there. They need to know that. That Lady Cheryl said you give some good canning videos, and she's the master gardener in my book. Her and her husband have a wonderful channel, and it's loaded with information. So I just want everybody to know that that last tier of $9.99 and the $4.99, the food preservation classes, they will end. Make your own products and food preservation. They will end at the end of the year. Yes, Charlene Joe, she is awesome. Hi, Fayette. Thank you for coming in here today. Okay. Now, I said, let me hold. Oh, about the birthday. Very quickly, I don't want to tell you everything that I said in the video, but you all have been so supportive of me. And I told you guys that, you know, I got issues with trying to do a whole lot, and editing is, I'm technically challenged. I'm just going to say it. And all that editing and trying to make the words have proper grammar and to keep all the information on 1 or 2 subject matters in a video, it's a lot of work. And I'm older, and I like to ramble sometimes. And sometimes I would just cut all that out. And you know what people told me? They said they like to hear it. Don't cut it out. Because one thing that you think that you shouldn't show, somebody else may get something out of it. So I've been getting emails from you, and you are blessing me by making me smile, telling me you like for me to point out little things that are not in the subject matter, and never ever apologize for anything that I say or do. One time I said my nails was dirty because I don't wear gloves. I don't like to wear gloves when I'm working in the garden. But I wear gloves when I'm working with products. And sometimes I could have just picked up some purslane and scooped it out with my fingers and put it in another grow box. And then I said, oh, let me show you this. And I have dirt under my nails and stuff. So I used to apologize. And people told me that you don't need to apologize for that. Just be yourself. And they told me that they liked the new format and the way that I'm presenting my videos. Because not only is it difficult, you got to save all those files, and it takes up a lot of memory. Not on my PC, because I have a lot of memory there, but I store that video stuff on my phones. I have 2 cell phones. And one right now I can't record on. It's not working good. I can't even get no phone calls out of it. That's another whole story. But we're getting back to the firecracker baby. I just want to let you all know a little bit about me. My parents had 4 boys in a row. And then back then that there wasn't sonograms. They didn't know there was going to be twins. So they were so happy that they finally got a girl. So I was real spoiled. I'll tell you the truth. I was a brat. And then a couple years later, my brother, the one I talk about a lot of times, that's a pastor of the church, he was born, and then I have one sister was born a year or so after him. So I grew up real prissy and real dainty with the ribbons in the hair and stuff because they were so happy to have the girl. So I didn't pick up bugs and worms, and I was afraid of, I'm still afraid of mice or rodents, but a rat or something. But I'm not afraid now. I can catch a squash vine border moth or pick up a grub. It doesn't even bother me. And you'll see me, you saw me in my last video doing, you're going to see me in the next video that I drop probably Wednesday doing the same thing. Because guys, like I said, I was real prissy and real dainty. But after I started gardening, and I know what those non-beneficial bugs and insects can do to your garden, it's war. When I see them, I'll snatch them and grab them like they are getting ready to eat my babies, eat my groceries. So I encourage all of you, if you're squeamish about things, toughen up, because the more you grow, the more you know, the more you learn, and you don't let them bugs just go and build tunnels in your squash. We'll talk a little bit more about that when I go over my topic of the week. Girly girl, people speaking to each other. Yes, give it to us straight. Thank you, Tia. I learned so much. Thank you. Thank you. It's real life, Rope Farmer. Thank you so much. Sandra living a full life is here. Hands in the dirt is here. It's amazing that you here because your hands in the dirt. I thought about you when I was saying I like to get my hands in the dirt. Wow, that's cute. Mama J, thank you. That's speaking from the heart. Okay, cool. So now I got all the business out the way. Only one thing I didn't do, and I apologize, they will go out this week. Your zinnia seeds will go out this week. Okay. Just had a lot on my plate, but I'll get them to you. And they germinate very fast, and they grow very fast, so it's not going to be an issue. Okay. Now what I'm getting ready to talk about, my topic. Moderators, am I on course? Did I forget anything? Moderators, tell me if I forgot something. Okay, thank you. Grandmama Grove said it was a super chat earlier. Thank you. April Garcia. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to turn the fan on and get my juice. I was drinking some juice. I'll be right back. Whew. Turn the fan on. Lately, I've been on this kick. Because you don't eat a lot of sweets. I've been drinking cucumber, celery, and carrot juice. And I don't know why it tastes really, really good. And maybe because it's organic and the taste is fresher. But I don't have any celery, not too many more cucumbers. And of course, I don't have any carrots. It's too hot here. But it made me reevaluate what I'm going to be growing in the wintertime, because I just grow a little carrots to eat. But carrots taste better when you drink the juice. So I'm going to be modifying my plants in my garden because I was doing some research about canning juice, like a V8 juice that you like, or freezing it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'll bring that to you all in another week. Okay, so here we go. Let me look at the chat, make sure everything is okay, and best yet, whose YouTube channel is that? Let's see. I am water bathing jelly and jam so far. And pickles. Yes, Charlene Joe. You can pickle almost anything. Just check from a reliable source, home food preservation site, or Balls. The Amish have a good book on water bath canning. You got to have the right percentage of 5% vinegar and water to make the alkaline vegetable. Let's say like dilly beans is alkaline. You have to have the right percentage of alcohol and the right amount to bring it on the acidic side of the pH scale. So be very careful about what you pickle and make sure you follow the directions exactly. Hey, C. Thomas, thank you for being here. We appreciate all you do, Lady Cheryl, and we understand. Oh, thank you, Growing with Hudson. Somebody said Ann Farmer 73. That's what I was getting ready to call Broke Farmer 73. Thank you, Pescatarian Garden. She said, I love your videos. You keep it real. Thank you. That's what I want to do. I just want to talk from my heart, you know? And that's why I was telling the ladies that if I could pick up these insects, I used to be like a little, y'all remember Little House on the Prairie? I was going to say Nellie. I wasn't no blonde, blue-eyed lady, but I would get everybody in trouble. I never hardly got a spanking in my life. I think I only got 2. Hey, Sandra, living a full life. Yeah, I would go tell on everybody. Nah. Get everybody in trouble. Okay. Yes, Peanut Peppers is one of my best YouTube family members in these YouTube streets. Somebody speaking to him or saying they like his channel or like his name. Okay. All right. So I'm making sure everything's okay. And I said I was going to go to my topic, but I don't want to go to my topic. I want everybody that is a moderator, and you have a blue wrench by your name, or if you're in one of the perk groups and you have I guess you call them emoji, pearls, or hibiscus, whether it's the black and gold one, the red one, or the pearls from Lady Cheryl, I want you to put in and I got to make sure that I slow down and say this right, because sometimes I watch myself and I keep saying, why do I keep saying website? Nobody puts their website in for me. Put your URL to your YouTube channel. And if you don't have a YouTube channel, you can put in your Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. Okay, so let's do that right now. Let's give everybody a chance to do that right now. And while you all doing that, I've been doing some research about the juice so I can make my own version of my vegetable juice or my V8s. And let me tell you what I've been doing lately. I've been juicing jalapeno peppers, and they'll last 3 days in the refrigerator, the juice. And then when I want a little kick to my juice or stir fry or whatever soup, whatever I'm cooking, I just put that juice from the jalapeno in there. So I just thought I'd share that with everybody. Hey, Cassandra Dominic. Okay. Oh, and when Cherie said her younger sister is like Nellie, still to this day. That was funny. Okay, so Regina is in zone 6B. And Dale, I'm so glad you're doing much better. And Dale, she has her own YouTube channel. Growing with Hudson has a YouTube channel, and she put Auntie Ellen in. Please go and check these people's channel out. And Miss Kia Parks, my YouTube daughter, is in zone 8A. She doesn't have a YouTube channel, but she's telling you where you can hook up with her on Instagram. And Best Yet has a YouTube channel. I think I mentioned that. Okay, so I think we got them all in. And I'm going to see, I think it's Odom's Homestead. Your mimosa tree that you won week before last will go out this week. You know, I don't know if you were here last week, but I could not mail it to you because the baby wasn't ready. That little tree sapling wasn't ready, and I didn't want to, wasn't feeling comfortable sending it until it got a little bit stronger. And I gave it some comfort tea. Not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before that, right after that contest, and it has taken off, so I will be putting it in the mail this week. And let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. Hey, Joyce Moore. And Joyce Moore, her YouTube is Urban Patch, or that's a YouTube channel? You need to look up what your URL is. Honorary Joyce L. Moore, one of our golden girls. That way you can put the link in. And see, Growing Hudson will probably look it up because I see she put Sandra Living a Full Life. She put hers in. And if Growing with Hudson will help her, Growing with Hudson is always helping people. Well, all my moderators. Lady Cheryl's moderating squad is awesome. So we'll get that. At Home with Cherie is, man, I tell you, you're doing some incredible stuff at Home with Cherie. Only have 4 active or good growing months, and you're growing all year round inside your home, your greenhouse. Man, I am just so proud and happy for you, because you be doing it. That's great. Made me start thinking about some things. I've been loving the carrot juice with the celery. I'm thinking about trying to grow it all year round. It's so hot though here. We're going to get a couple cool days later in the week, and I'm so grateful for that. Just grateful. Sandra Living a Full Life. I think Hudson already got you. I think I saw it. Yeah, you missed class, Sandra, but, you know, it'll come around again. Sometimes it's just like that. The moderator mod squad, yeah, they are out of sight. They are out of sight. Growing with Hudson wants to know, Joyce, is there something about a nut tree on your page? She wants to make sure that she has the right YouTube. Oh, yes, I know it brings you a lot of joy. Cherie, you can't do that kind of work and don't enjoy it and don't get a thrill out of it. Especially when you grow with seeds. Now, look, I don't want to put down nobody that can't grow from seeds or work and it's too time consuming for you and, you know, you be burning up seeds or you can't harden them off. I'm not putting nobody down. As long as you are growing some groceries, you are all right in my book. But the reward that you get from seeing a tiny seed produce, so far, I've harvested 8 patty pan squashes from seeds that I had over 10 years. It's a thrill. It's a thrill. And I don't want to preach to everybody, but it's just amazing to me how God created everything and allow us to be stewards over what he created. It's a beautiful thing. And when I put things on my Facebook page for my family, they see stuff that they have never seen before. Certain varieties of pepper. What kind of pepper is that? It's a sweet pepper. What? They love it. They love it. They love it. They love it. Lurkers, we appreciate you hitting that like button. Okay, Grandmama Grows. You know you right on time. Everybody is saying amen, amen. And it's something about your connection. Whatever your belief system is, whatever your religion is, or how much your spirituality is something in that garden that is just so beautiful, that is so divine. You can't help but have a closer connection to God. You just can't help it. You just can't help it. All right, okay. Growing with Hudson. Thank you so much. Okay, Oldham Homestead. I don't know when you got in here, but your mimosa tree will go out this week. I had to hold it back a little bit because I didn't want to send a weak plant out. And another thing, keep them coming. You guys are sending me pictures. You're sending me pictures of the Texas Star Hibiscus and the comfrey and asking me, can you start your tea yet? And should it go in a larger container? Oh, man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's like all across the country, people are growing. We are united, growing things similar. And you're going to feel, Mike said, feels good to see them grow. Yes, it does. And you're going to see a tremendous difference in your gardens. I promise you, once you start composting, that's number 1. 2, fermenting or dropping and chopping and dropping comfrey. You're going to see bigger blooms. You're going to see bigger fruit. You're going to see healthier green plants. You're going to notice a difference. It's not going to happen overnight, but I guarantee you, you're going to notice a difference. And you're not going to have to be buying a whole lot of stuff. These commercials and people that get paid to be a have sponsors for products, you're going to save a whole lot of money. I'm just going to say that. You're going to save a whole lot of money growing your own fertilizer, growing your own compost. I have to get some of that comfrey for my compost. Yes. You didn't get in on it. You can get in on it, at least for me, for next year. Or you can go to eBay and see. It's somebody even named Cheryl on eBay selling it. And you can get some. Joyce Elmore, chop and drop. Yes, I'll send you pictures. Miss Joyce Moore, I'm doing it, sweetie. I am doing it around all of my fruit trees. It acts as a living mulch to suppress weeds. And then it feeds my plants. I'll do a video. Hey, sifting some soil. Good to see you here. Hey, Yankee sister. That chop and that drop. Guys, this is going to be a real good season. I'm claiming it in the name of Jesus. I am going to have a good harvest of fruit. And let me tell you something, and this is not on my topic. I'm getting ready to get on it. I stopped thinning my fruit out. Because I pruned heavily. And then every morning I get out there and walk the grounds and I see fruit on the ground. The wind knocks it down. So I'm not going to start thinning my fruit anymore until June. I put it in my journal because the wind would thin it out for me. Okay. And don't get upset. Regina said I was feeling bad because every time I've grown my seeds, they died at 2 to 3 inches. It must be something wrong, but my country is growing well, and my ground cherries are gone. Yeah, probably you might be overwatering them or not watering them enough, or it might be when you harden them off. Go back and look at my playlist on seed starting. I get up and close and personal. You may not even see my face in the whole video. I get up close and personal and show you exactly what I do. Okay. And Gorman Hudson saying that Azure standard carries comfrey too. Is it the Russian blocking 14? Is it roots? Is it the rhizome? Because all of them are not the same. Hi, Miss Renee. Thank you for being here. And Otis Homestead said they're getting a lot of strawberries, gooseberries, blackberries, raspberries. They got a lot of berries for them. Good for you. Eat Tis Good is here. Thank you. And H. Tyler say I still use banana peel water for the fertilizer. Yes, that's wonderful. There is more nutrients in the banana peel than it is in the banana itself. And medical experts say that you can scrub the banana peel and boil it and make a tea out of it, and it's real healthy for you, make you calm down, anxiety, and make you go to sleep. Okay, I'll wait and get comfort from you, Lady Cheryl. Okay, cool. And Miss Love said, hello, family. And thank you, Grandmama Gross. She put my seed starting playlist. I've got a lot of people that have been following me I've been on YouTube since 2015. I got a lot of people that have been following me, and now they have their own YouTube channel. And they started following me to learn how to grow from seed. Because you get so much more of a variety. And you get to experience things that you can't buy in the store. For example, certain parts of the country sell certain things. We cannot buy sweet potato slips in Texas because they wouldn't make any money off of them unless you were in an air-conditioned nursery because they go bad so quick. Certain flowers, and that's why I like to look when you all go to garden centers. I think I watched 3 of them this week, maybe 4. I'd like to see what you are offering at in your part of the country. But even if you're in a hot area like me, if you can grow by seeds, you still can experience everything that you want. If you can grow by seeds, or grow from seeds. Okay. Food by Faith, thank you for being here. And she said in Georgia, they sell sweet potato slips. I lived in Mississippi for 6 years. That's where my late husband was from. And they sold, they called it the co-op, where they have all the feed for your farm animals and your chicken, everything. And they sell it by the pound. And then they sold the slips by a big bunch. And yeah, they sold sweet potato slips in Mississippi. And Broke Farmer said, oh yeah, his comfrey is growing like crazy. And when it grows real fast, guys, shave it. Give them a ball cut. I promise you, don't cut it down in the soil. Let's say this is the comfrey. Right here. Cut it right here. Cut it all up. Stuff it in a bucket, 5-gallon bucket. Fill it up. Put a rock or a brick on top of it. Or if you got one of those laundry baskets, stuff as much as you can in there. Let it ferment a week for your new seedlings, 2 weeks for your old plants, a month for your fruit trees. Put it on full strength on your fruit trees. Y'all gonna see they're gonna go crazy. Because they go way down in the earth, like 15 feet down in the earth, and pull up nutrients that have never been used before. And there's some trees that do the same thing. The mimosa tree goes way down in the earth. That I can think off the top of my head. Persimmon trees. It's a lot of trees that can do that. But I'm just saying, you're going to notice a difference. You're going to notice a difference when you start using compost. Keep your banana peels, your eggshells, and your used coffee grounds. and add that in your compost or your compost tea. Guys, you can even use your grass clippings. Now, don't use them the first cutting of the year. Some of you live in areas where your lawn will grow up and it'll go to seed. Don't put those seeds in your compost tea. But if you live where I live, that I get my lawn mowed all year round. When there's no seeds, like this time of year, I tell my landscaper to keep my, you know what I'm trying to say, keep my little grass clippings, and I mulch with that. Another thing about the comfrey, I have no weeds growing in the garden beds or around my trees that I have comfrey going. No weeds at all. No bending down and pulling out weeds. Okay? All right. Yankee sister, what zone you living in? Because unless you're somewhere real cold, your comfrey can go outside. It came back after 3 degrees 0 in Texas. Regina Tyson got a question mark. Okay, so I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to leave the chat for a minute, go to my notes, get to my topic. And the name of this subject matter I'm getting ready to discuss today is when it's too hot. When it is too hot. You have to know your garden zone, and you've got to study it. And just because you're in the same garden zone, I'm seeing a big question mark. Grandmama Groves, you are exactly right. She said, these plant starts have so much slow-release fertilizers, they die in the organic soil. That's why I prefer starting from seeds. That is so true. Because I know somebody that worked at a big box stores, and she told me that they put that even liquid fertilizer. I don't want to call no names out. Okay? But over-fertilizing something is the number one, in my opinion, cause failure to get seeds to grow. Okay, too hot. Thank you, Best Yet. I'm going to go on. Miss Love says she's going to have to Google what's comfrey. Okay, let me move on to my subject. It's too hot. I was saying, Food by Faith Garden. Hey, Regina Tyson, what's your question? I don't know why you're asking her that. But there's no questions at this time, Food by Faith. No offense. Hold your questions, everybody. Hey, James Franklin. Thank you for being here. Okay. Oh, okay. Yankee sister, she's in Connecticut, 6A. Oh, yeah. Wait a little bit longer. You're in a colder environment. Or you can put it out there as long as you don't get below 32. You can. My comfrey comes up at 32 degrees. So you can, but if you're not comfortable and you don't want to, you know, if you don't want it. Okay, LW, I'm going to remove your comment. I'm not removing you. I'm just removing your comment because that's a question. When you say, I wonder, I'll get to that. I'll give you my opinion on it, okay? All right. And Ty Lily said, good evening, Lady Cheryl. Did you get any hail damage? Now, she's just asking me about the weather, not a gardening-related questions. No. We had a lot of thunder and lightning and not a drop of rain. Texas is crazy. Not a drop of rain. No problem, LW. I promise you I'll get to your question. Don't get offended. I'm an old beauty school instructor, director, and I like order. Okay? And you probably weren't in here when I'm saying hold your question, sweetie. I am not offended, and I don't want to offend nobody. That's not my nature. But I do know I am kind of direct. But don't take it the wrong way, okay? I promise you. I did not mean to embarrass you. Hey, Dragon Queen number 1. Okay, now, It's too hot. When you find out what your zone is, the next thing you need to do is check your weather. Short-term forecast, long-term forecast. And you can check with Dave's nursery website. They give a lot of information. But my favorite is almanac.com. You can put anything in there that you want in the search engine. They're going to tell you when you need to start it from seeds, when you can buy transplants, when you need to start it in the house, when you can direct sow it outside. It'll give you the information that you need. But this is the thing. The longer you have been gardening in your area, the more you will learn about things, not necessarily about the weather, but insects. You will know, like I do, that in May is when the squash vine border moth comes out. And so for the last week, I caught 2 of them with my own bare hands and put them in videos. You will know, I'm giving you some examples, when or what type of squash the squash vine border moth don't attack. For example, butternut squash is one that I can grow in the summer into the fall that hardly ever gets attacked by that squash vine border moth. And if you're new to gardening, or if you're new to the topic of squash vine border moths, what they do is, you look at my last video, I got pictures in it, and I'm dropping one Wednesday with another picture. And it's a little black moth that has wings, of course, because it's a moth that's going to fly. And you'll see these little orange spots either going down the spine when it's very mature, or on the outside of the underbelly. It's very unusual, so you're going to know what it is. Okay? And so what they do is they smell squash and melons and cucumbers and a few other vegetables and fruit. Actually, those are all fruit. And they will eat off any plant. Yes, because you see, I caught mine, the one I caught today, was on basil. It was either basil or parsley. I have to look at the video to remember. It was either basil or parsley. But it wasn't no squash in that large gorilla cart where I have a lot of my herbs. So it was eating. But when it's time to lay the eggs, it's like chickens. You know how they nest? I don't know a whole lot about chickens, but I know when they're nesting, they're sitting on, and they go in that little box that you guys set up, and they sit on the egg so they can hatch, right? So when it's time for the moth of the squash vine border to deliver her larvae or eggs, whatever you want to call them, they go to the squash. And they will lay their eggs, which are invisible to the naked eye, around the vine. And then the little babies will start sucking on the stems of the squash vine, whether it is bush or the vining type, and they'll bore a hole in it, and they'll just start eating. They'll eat their weight up overnight in it, and they just start boring down in a tunnel just like this. They'll find an entry point, and they'll just keep moving and eating and growing and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I have removed them with a thin little knife and scooped them out and thought it was over and wrapped that vine up in foil. But they found another entry point, and more than one moth was in there. A worm was in there. So you got to know your weather. You got to know where you live. And you got to know that everybody that is in zone 8A, like me, does not have the same weather conditions that I have. Okay? And then the more experience you get, you will know when to put your summer squash, your patty pan squash out so that you can get it almost all developed before that monster, that insect that I just described to you, start laying her eggs and her larvae. Does that make sense? So I know I got to get it out there in March, because I got 30 days in March and I got 30 days in April and a 2 weeks in May, and it's going to be a wrap. So I'm going to get as much as I can get, okay? The other thing I want to tell you is it's the same way with my cucumbers. I got to get them out there in March. Even if I have to put a PVC pipe over my bed and put a 6 mil a layer of plastic over it to keep the warmth inside. If it's going to drop down below 32 degrees, I might have to put some Christmas decoration lights in there to warm it up. I do what I have to do if I want to get any cucumbers, if I want to get any squash. So know your zone, but also know your limits. And sometimes you can push it. Now, let me talk about me. I watch, hey, Super Sly Fox 1. I'm in some Facebook groups for North Texas. But I don't do everything that they do. They say, don't plant until after Easter. They say, look at the mesquite trees and see if they're budding. If they start budding, there's not going to be a frost. I don't follow that. And some of the people that follow things real strict, they mess up and they don't want to take chances. They mess up and the window will have ran out on crops like the summer squash, the cucumbers, and tomatoes. Because I told you guys many times that once, and you can Google this, I'm not going to tell you anything that I haven't experienced or researched. I will never just, if I do, I'll say it is my opinion. But this is a fact. Once it gets, my subject, too hot, certain things are not going to grow. And if they grow, they're not going to grow well. And you can shade them and try to hang on to them until the weather conditions are favorable. Again, for example, tomatoes. Once it gets 85, 90 degrees, you can forget it. They will still ripen on the vine if you already got them on there. But the blooms are going to shrivel up and fall off or not bloom at all. So all of my tomatoes will be harvested before the 2nd, no later than the 3rd week in June. And I usually schedule my vacation around that time. This year is going to be a little bit different. But anyway, oh, you're welcome, Lorraine. This is what I want to know. And I think Tiny Texas Gardener is saying it already. So true. It is usually too hot by the time those tips come to pass. That's why I get in there early and Tiny Texas Garden and try to share with you all step by step what I'm doing and why I'm doing. Because I told you I have terracotta pots. I have those plastic dome, I think they're called cloches. I don't know. And then I have PVC pipe and I have small little hoops. I have bigger ones. They got all sizes on eBay and Amazon. And then I always keep that plastic and the frost cloth in case something happens. And this is what happens in my Facebook groups that I'm in. When I start posting my tomato harvest in the wintertime, they go, they put that face on, with the mouth open, and they shocked. Because I kept preaching and telling you all how I plan to heat my greenhouse. It's a lot of work, but it is so rewarding. And once you have everything, you don't have to keep buying it every year. Just try to add a little bit something extra to your arsenal. For example, I did the kerosene heater. I didn't have to use it at all. I have a gas fireplace. I have a gas stove. So if my electricity go out with my furnace and there's a power outage, I still can keep it warm. And then I have those lanterns and solar lights and all of that. But I bought the big kerosene heater. I didn't even have to turn it on because it didn't get that cold. So you just never know. You have to be prepared. So when it gets too hot, you don't wait. That's my second bullet point. You don't wait and start screaming it's too hot and everything is burning up. That is a prerequisite. Tiny Texas Gardener just said at a point it'll just get too hot for certain things to grow. So you got to be ready, and you have to know what you can grow when it's too hot and what you can't grow when it's too hot. And because I have so many fruit trees, my gardening real estate is very valuable. So I don't hang on to beds that are not hardly going to produce anything. I'm going to pull them up. It's no waste, because as long as they're not infested, what did I tell you? The number one thing that would turn your garden around if you put it on your plants? Compost and compost tea. Number one. Number two, comfort. So even if I pull up some squash plants or cucumber plants and they're not infested and I put them in my compost, I haven't lost anything. And those of you in the chat that have chickens and rabbits and whatever you all have on your homestead, you all know y'all pull that stuff up and you all throw it to the chickens. So nothing goes to waste, because then the chickens are going to poop it out, and then you're going to use that, let that chicken poop age or rabbit poop, and you're going to put that back into the earth, into your soil. So nothing gets wasted. Stop holding on to plants that look sick and they're stressed. As soon as I recognize my plants are stressed because it is what? Too hot, I'm pulling them up and I'm starting something else. I probably already started something else. I'm loving those little Keter elevated garden beds I have, because they have a shelf at the bottom where I can put some seedlings and start them, and they'll be in the shade. And then I can just pull that tray out, pull the other things in the compost, and pop some other little seedlings in. This year I have not bought one plant. Miss Beverly, if I whine on the phone and say, Miss Beverly, this didn't start, like my stevia, was it last year? Yeah, she bought me 3 plants. Come on, let's go to Lowe's. I said, okay. And then she said, where are the stevia plants? Because she heard me telling her a couple times on the phone that mine didn't take, the seeds didn't take good. I learned from it. It was too hot when I started them. So I threw out a challenge, and I sent you guys some stevia seeds that I bought from Baker Creek. Now, I said I haven't bought anything this year. That didn't mean I didn't buy anything last year. And I sent seeds, and we all started them together. So out of the 6 seeds that I had, I got 5 to germinate and 3 to mature to healthy plants. I lost a couple on the way. Don't think that every seed that you start, you're going to be able to grow some vegetables or fruit from it, because you're going to lose some along the way. So don't be alarmed. It may not mean that you did anything wrong. It could just went into shock, got too windy or something, and it died. But when all of your seedlings die, then like Grandmama Groves was saying, that if you bought some transplants and they were loaded with slow-release fertilizer and you brought them home and you put them into your garden bed and then they start dying, that might be the transplant just was puffed up for us to buy them and they were going to die anyway. Or you maybe you put some fertilizer on plants. You see, plants don't need a lot of fertilizer in the early stages. In fact, they don't need any. Everything that the seed needs to germinate is inside of that seed as far as nutrition is concerned. And once it gets the second or third set of leaves, then you can, if you want to give them a little weak solution fertilizer that is organic, like the Comfort. I told you guys that I don't. I don't give my seedlings any fertilizer until about a week or so after they have been transplanted outside. Because in the potting mix, if you mix up just perlite in your potting mix, perlite has fertilizer in it. This year I used Kellogg's natural and organic. But natural may not be organic. But it was more organic than I have ever used this year. And I didn't lose a lot of seedlings. Did I lose some? Yes. I lost some when I transitioned them from the house to the greenhouse, fungus, that type of thing, okay? So if you are having a lot of seedlings to die, check out my playlist or any YouTuber that you are comfortable with that's actually giving you instruction instead of just talking. Check them out if you can see somebody doing something up close and personal. So, right now, it's getting ready to be too hot by the end of May for squash that is not butternut and cushaw, and there are a couple more acorn you can grow. It'll be too hot for cucumbers because they thrive 60 to 75 degrees. So once you go to that Farmer's Almanac and you find out what zone you're in, and you find out what you can grow, and you find out when you can sow the seeds inside, or do you need to wait and put the plants out after the last expected frost date, then you got to count and look at your long-term weather plan to see if you're going to start running into a temperature that's going to be too hot for you to grow. So I'm loving my cucumbers, and I'm one step ahead because I know pretty soon I'm not going to be able to harvest any, so I already ordered some. Whole Foods. And now I'm researching how I can my own V8 without any sodium, or how I could freeze celery juice. Y'all feel me? Because you need to make this garden thing work for you. You just don't start growing a whole lot of stuff. You grow what you like, what you want to incorporate into your eating habits. Notice I don't like to say that D-I-E-T word, obviously. And what your grandkids and what your children like. Don't just be growing a whole lot of stuff and then you harvest and you cook it and you don't like it. I'm at the point now where I only grow what I like. Now, I may grow a different variety. I was been gifted. God has blessed me with beautiful people in this YouTube community that gave me a lot of seeds for my gratitude garden. I don't want to start calling names out because when I do that, I forget somebody. But we do know we have a fairy seed godmother in this group. I'm just going to call her name out, Cheryl. She's given out more seeds than I've ever received from anybody. And as long as it's a sweet pepper or it's a hot pepper, I know I'm going to like it. So I don't consider that in the same category of growing something I don't know about. Because it's good to try different things. But I'm saying if your family doesn't like turnip greens, don't grow them. If your family doesn't like collards, don't grow them. Find out what they like. Find out if you can grow it in your area. Find out when you can grow it, when you can start them, and when is the last date you need to get them harvested. And always, always, always be ready to put something else in its place. So, Wednesday, I got the plumber coming tomorrow, so I ain't going to do it. And I got some other stuff on my schedule. But Wednesday, I will start seeds to replace my cucumbers and my squash. Then after that, it'll be whatever I'm going to plant to take the place of my tomatoes, because they're going to be harvested in June. Right? And then the last thing I want to tell you is, know what grows well when it is too hot. In my zone, in my hot 100+ degree temperatures, I can still grow peppers. Should have pulled up my notes. Eggplant, sweet potatoes. I'm not growing any sweet potatoes this year. I still got some canned. Peppers, okra. How can I forget okra? So I'm going to be ready. I'll start sowing some more okra seeds to succession plant. Because I started some in my house in January. I'm going to start some more of these bad boys on Wednesday. Okay? All right. I hope I said something that will help or motivate you. Let me go and look at the chat because I have my notes open. The Beehive Homestay, thank you for being here. Cherie said, after losing so much during the first week of the crazy heat wave, I started backup seeds for my backup seeds. That's right. Okay, I love it. My backup for my backup. I love it. And I guess Yankee's sister home says she's excited, and Grandmama Grove says she's excited too. And the Betterson family is here. My last frost date just passed, May 15th. I'm just going to get into planting summer plants finally. Good for you, Yankee sister. So, if your last frost date has passed, Yankee sister, put your comfrey out. Okay? You might want to shade it a little bit at first on your patio or something before you ease it into full sun. But if your frost date has passed, on May 15th, comfrey can go out. It probably could have went out sooner. Okay. All right. Okay. Now we're open for questions. And I want to take that person that I said that I retracted it. Put your question in all caps, sweetie. If the question was about seaweed, and I'll take it. Grandmama Grove says she just put her comfrey outside. Yeah. Just know when you eat, and I know Grandmama Groves know what she's doing. So I'm not directing this to you. I'm directing it to the new people or the new gardeners that have been gardening less than a year. Anytime you transition something from in the greenhouse, from your house into the greenhouse, you still got to shade it a little bit. If you transition it from the house to outside, you got to shade it a little bit, okay? Just don't put it in direct sun. But if you happen to do that and you went to the grocery store and you forgot, don't worry about it. Just pull it back in and let it marinate and give it a little bit more sun the next time. Yes, I shade all my seedlings. Thank you, Lady Cheryl. Yes, yes, yes. I learned at 3M 3 years ago. When it almost froze to death. Okay. So, do you make teas for more nutrition to the plants? Yes. I make comfrey tea. I make grass tea. I make weed tea. My number one tea is comfrey tea and compost tea. My Meyer lemon has lemon the size of a pea. They either turn black or they fall off the tree. That happens a lot. Either too much water, not enough water, chelated iron, or too hot or too cold. What zone are you in, Ty Lily? Mike want to know, do onions like fish emulsion? As a rule, I recommend fish emulsion for anything that has a root. So onions have a root. That's a high nitrogen content. Anything like fruit trees, squash, tomatoes, this is only my opinion from my experience, you don't need a lot of nitrogen. If it blooms and make a flower or a fruit, I wouldn't give it that much fish emulsion. But I would give fish emulsion to anything like beets, onions, greens that don't have, flowers and stuff. Corn is a heavy nitrogen feeder. Beans fix nitrogen in peas, so you don't need it on that. But yes, fish emulsion can be good. Just don't think that it is the answer to everything in the food forest or in your garden. Because I've had some bad experience by using products that had a lot of nitrogen in it. I got a lot of fire blight and lost a lot of trees. I say it almost everywhere. I killed some fruit trees. So I know what I'm talking about. Okay? All right. Yes! Miss Growing with Hudson is saying there's 80 people in here, only 62 thumbs up. Come on now, y'all. You're welcome, Mike. Y'all gotta hit that like button. That kind of like helps with the algorithms. Okay, and Dale said, I have several of your okra seeds growing in our garden. They make me smile. That's wonderful, Andale. That's wonderful. I love okra. You guys know that I'm an okra girl. I like to eat sauteed okra. I don't even mind if it's slimy in soups and stews. But I also make okra water because if you cut the tip and slice up the okra and put it in a little mason jar about this tall and just cover it up and sit it on your counter, and the next day drain off the okra, and it usually doesn't get slimy, just sit in that water in room temperature and drink it. It'll bring your glycemic level, your blood sugar level down. A nurse told me about that back in the day when I had a Facebook group, maybe 5 years ago, and I said, oh, really? And I researched it, and it sure came up right. And I've been doing that every day. And they told me I was on the borderline pre-diabetic about 13 years, and I haven't taken any medicines for diabetes. So I think it helps. Okay, this is my first season growing okra. Yeah, Grandmama grows when it gets real hot. That okra will survive. It can take 115 degrees. One time we had triple digit temperatures. I think it was 10 days in a row. And man, you can go out there and you can gather your okra in the morning, and you have to go back and gather it in the evening when the sun gets ready to go down because it grows just that fast. Mike said he loves fried okra. I need to hear what to put behind harvest. I needed to hear what to put behind harvest. I don't quite know what that means. Does that obly work with fresh obly? Yes, if you're talking about with the water, yes. Or frozen, as long as it doesn't have any coating on it. I don't like okra, but grow it for one of the granddaughters who loves pickled okra. And I can't make no good pickled okra because I have a lot of stuff going on with me, high blood pressure, pre-diabetic, kidney disease, and I can't have salt. And I haven't found a way to pickle okra and it tastes good with no salt. A Garden for Mom says she's growing okra too, and she's growing some red okra. I've grown that before. Okay. And Yankee Sister said the okra seeds she got from me are growing well and she'll be putting them out soon. Yeah. And that's one of the ones you might want to hold out, Yankee Sister, because they'll get a little stunted. If it's like 40 and 50 degrees, let that soil warm up. I would recommend that you keep them in a little bit longer, unless you like me and you like to break the rules because you know you got some backup. Because I put my okra out real early. It really was too cold for it. And some of them are stunted, but the majority of them are flourishing. Okay, lady, you asked where I'm located. I am in... Oh, that's right, Todd Billy. That's right, baby. You in Denton with my son, my CEO. Sifting some soil said try dehydrating the okra. I have, but I'm still talking about pickle. If anybody know how to make pickled okra without salt, that's what I want. Okay, the Garden for Mom, I'm growing Dwarf Star of David okra. That's the one that grows like a bush, right? Grandma grows. The Star of David, if that's the one that grows like a bush, can you send me 3 seeds? Grandmama grows. Okay, now that's that question about the seaweed. Grandmama grows, I hope you're hearing me. Let me know, yes, I'll send you some seeds. I would like to have 3 of those seeds. Okay, let's go with LW. He said it's Chi says seaweed water are good for gardeners and fertilizer for food. Yes, it is. I used to use it all the time before I started doing the country and the compost tea. And yes, seaweed is an excellent fertilizer. All around, all-purpose fertilizer, follow the directions. Mike said citric acid might be good to replace salt in pickles. Citric acid, I use it in my products, very sparingly, is a preservative. I don't know if that would give it sodium, but I'll check it out. I'll write that down, Mike, and I'll check it out. I appreciate your input. Citric acid replacement. Sodium in pickles. So what I did with my pickles, instead of having dill pickles, I just made refrigerated pickles this year, and I put stevia in it to give it a little sweetness. So I have if I make like a pickle relish. But I really would love to have a dill, and I have a lot of it growing in my herb cart. I would love to have a dill pickle, dilly beans, and okra that are pickled. Good night, Andale. We thank you so much for being here. How many comfrey plants should you plant to make a difference? As many as you can, and you're going to be able to divide them. A lot of chefs use acid to replace salt. Okay. Okay, so that's what I'm writing down. I'm gonna Google that. Use acid, citric acid. And I tried those salt, Miss Dash or whatever. I tried pickling with something like that, and it just tastes awful. So I won't be doing that. Somebody got down potatoes. I guess you want to know about planting them? Be more specific, sweetie. I got videos in my playlist on planting potatoes. But when the doctor told me don't take milk, I was going over 6.5 for blood sugar, and I got to keep that below 7. And he wanted me to get it down a little bit lower. I took potatoes out of my eating menu. Only time I have a potato is a holiday or I'm going out to dinner or something.